Good afternoon and welcome to the 2021 Town of West Hartford Economic Development Update, presented by People's United Bank. I'm Chris Conway, Executive Director of the West Hartford Chamber of Commerce. I would like to thank our additional sponsors for today's event, of which there are several. A testament to the level of appreciation for the work that the town and the chamber do to keep our businesses and community thriving. Our gold sponsor, Westfield Bank, our silver sponsors, Alka Construction Company, All Waste, Clifton Larson Allen, Comcast Business, Connecticut Food Bank and Food Share, courtesy of Robert and Terry Kulikowski, and Troutbrook Realty Advisors. Our media sponsor, Corsi and Company, and our media sponsor, 20 Media 20. We are coming to you today live via Zoom, Facebook Live, and through our partnership with West Hartford Community Interactive Television on Comcast Channel 5 and Frontier Channels 6098, as well as YouTube Live. I would like to thank our Mayor, Sherry Cantor, and the entire West Hartford Town Council for their leadership and support. I would also like to thank Town Manager Matt Hart and everyone at the town for their tireless dedication to our community. I'd like to give a special acknowledgement to today's presenter, Town of West Hartford Economic Coordinator Kristen Gorski. Her energy, creativity, and advocacy for our businesses and nonprofit is unmatched. The Chamber's collaboration through her benefits our entire community. I would like to close by thanking our entire business community for the resilience and determination they have demonstrated over the last year and a half. The Chamber and our Board of Directors, under the leadership of our chairperson, Amy Babich, is proud to support you. It is now my pleasure to introduce Town Manager Matt Hart.
Thank you so much, Chris, and good afternoon, everyone. We really appreciate you joining us in today's presentation. I'd like to start by thanking the Chamber and our sponsors for coordinating and supporting today's event. And I'd also like to thank the Chamber, the board, Chris, Jesse, and Kate, for the tremendous partnership, truly tremendous partnership that we have established serving our community. You know, we've always had a great working relationship, the town and the Chamber. But this year, our ability to work collaboratively as a team really reached a new level. And the Chamber, you've been with us every step of the way, as we've worked to support our community during this very challenging time. Whether it was helping to lead an informational Zoom meeting for our business community, raising donations for those in need, or helping with our very popular outdoor dining initiative, you've been there with us. And for that, we are very, very grateful. Now, moving on to our keynote speaker, our own Economic Development Coordinator, Kristen Gorski. Kristen is an experienced professional and a star in her profession. She's the current president of CEDAS, the Connecticut Economic Development Association, and has built a really tremendous network of colleagues. Kristen's work this past year has been exemplary, and I appreciate her passion and her commitment to our community and to our organization. No job is too small for Kristen, no assignment is too big, and she's always available. And she's almost always ahead of me too. So due in part to Kristen's efforts and our wonderful partnership with the Chamber, our community is emerging from the pandemic in a very, very competitive position. And Kristen will tell you all about that. Mayor Cantor, the Town Council, and I are very pleased to have Kristen in such a key role for our team. So I would now like to turn the virtual floor over to Ms. Amy Babich with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services and the chair of the Chamber's board. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you so much, Matt, for the introduction. Today, I am thrilled to introduce Nancy Breacher from our presenting sponsor, People's United Bank. Nancy is a Senior Market Manager Vice President with People's United Bank. Nancy oversees 3 branches in the town of West Hartford, as well as multiple branches in nearby towns. Nancy's office has been here in West Hartford for 28 of the 32 years she has been with the bank. Nancy is an active participant with the West Hartford Chamber Board of Directors and is a member of the Economic Development Committee. Thank you, Nancy, for your contributions to our chamber and to West Hartford.
Thank you, Amy. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm excited to be here and to be part of the Economic Development Lunch and kick off this important event. People's United is thrilled to be the sponsor of this event for 7 consecutive years and to see the growth and expansion that is happening locally. As we will see shortly, there are many exciting changes going on within the town of West Hartford that many of you have played a significant role in. Likewise, at People's United, we have some exciting changes to come. As many of you know, if approved, and we hope it will be, in Q4 of this year, we will merge with M&T Bank. The combined company will be a diversified, community-focused banking franchise with approximately $200 billion in assets and a network of more than 1,100 branches that span 12 states, from Maine to Virginia and the District of Columbia. So collectively, we will continue our legacy of community involvement. In fact, we are going to strengthen it. Central to People's United's DNA is a mission rooted in driving meaningful change in our communities. And that could not be any more true than this past year. In response to COVID, our charitable foundation provided funding to the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving in support of its COVID-19 response fund to help deploy resources to Greater Hartford residents who were most significantly affected by the coronavirus pandemic. This was one of 37 grants totaling over $200,000 that was awarded to local nonprofits in the Greater Hartford area, including the Justice Education Center, the Jewish Federation of Greater Hartford, and the Bridge Family Center, all operating here in West Hartford. Locally, you will continue to see the faces you have come to know over the years. Our commitment to financial literacy is stronger than ever, as evidenced by our partnership in this area with the University of St. Joe's and the American School for the Deaf. With 3 branches in the town of West Hartford, Rezi Mushka and her team at Bishop's Corner, Rob Gay and I at the West Hartford Center branch, and Christine Fletcher and her team at Elmwood Stop and Shop branch are available with our banking expertise and commitment to helping all of you with your personal and business needs. This year has been unlike any other, but through it we are emerging from it stronger than ever, and that could not be any truer than for West Hartford, and you should all be proud of your efforts. People's United is proud to be a part of this community and look forward to continuing our support now as People's United and once the merger with M&T is complete later this year. Now I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker, Kristen Gorski. Kristen serves as Economic Development Coordinator for the town of West Hartford. She provides extensive outreach to enhance the relationship between the town of West Hartford and local businesses. Kristen is responsible, it's a long list here, for business retention and expansion, new business attraction, new development, and small business and entrepreneurial support. She is a liaison between the town and its businesses and nonprofit organizations, as well as the real estate and development community. Prior to joining the town of West Hartford in 2016, she worked at the Bristol Development Authority for the city of Bristol. A Massachusetts native, Kristen moved to Connecticut in 2015. In Massachusetts, she worked for the Metropolitan Area Planning Council, MAPC, the state's largest regional planning agency whose focus is to promote smart growth and regional collaboration. While at MAPC, she served as a liaison between federal and state agencies as well as local government representatives statewide, implementing Homeland Security planning initiatives. Kristen also assisted with the Cambridge Post-Disaster Recovery for Small Businesses project, working collaboratively with the City of Cambridge, Mass, and their various business districts. Additionally, she has more than 6 years of business management experience in the retail sector. Kristen is the current president of the Connecticut Economic Development Association, which is the statewide association for economic and development professionals. She is actively involved with the West Hartford Chamber of Commerce, where she serves as the Economic Development Committee, is a town representative to the Board of Directors, and is the former president of FLOW, Future Business Leaders of West Hartford. She holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Geography and Regional Planning, and a BS in Criminal Justice, both from Westfield State University. Kristen, take it away.
Thanks, Nancy. I'd also like to thank everybody who introed today, Chris and Jesse, Town Manager Matt Hart, as well as Amy Babbage. Really excited to be here this year. Definitely looking forward to getting back to in person in 2022, but really appreciate everybody's time and joining us virtually today. Also, I just wanted to give a really big thanks to all of our sponsors, as well as all of our tremendous business community that's been through quite a bit the last year. Going to take a moment to share my screen. Okay. So first, I wanted to start by highlighting, as Matt had briefly mentioned, the really strong partnership between the Chamber and the town of West Hartford, especially over the last year during the COVID-19 pandemic. We offered a variety of different small business forums that focused on hot topics, as well as bringing real-time information to our business community, and brought together a variety of local, state, and federal leaders. We also partnered on a number of initiatives in order to support our businesses. At the beginning of the pandemic, we offered Eat Local, Win Local, which was a great way for residents in order to support our restaurants. Also later in the year, we had West Hartford Gives, which was another support of West Hartford restaurants, as well as first responders and healthcare workers. Also, as you can see on this screen, a really exciting opportunity where the holiday stroll is typically only held in West Hartford Center and Blueback Square. This past year, we opened it up to town-wide. We recoined it as Stroll Your Own Way, and it featured a window decorating contest that was open to all businesses in all business districts. This certainly was a fun time and a fan favorite for all residents to be able to shop around and stroll around each commercial district and see the beautiful windows throughout the holiday season. Now, after a brief hiatus, let's take a drive through town and see what's changed, starting in Corbin's Corner. In Corbin's Corner, the last property right before the Newington line, as you can see on the left-hand side, this former Babies R Us was transformed into a multi-tenant building. On the left-hand side of the building, in April of this year, we welcomed national retailer Ulta Beauty. Also, Pure Hockey is now open in the space directly next door. Pure Hockey had been located on the the right-hand side of the plaza, but relocated earlier this year, opening recently to make way for Dick's Sporting Goods. Although Dick's Sporting Goods will technically be in Newington, West Hartford will have about 2,000 square feet. Moving along on New Britain Avenue in the Regency Plaza, Cucina Mediterranean Eatery opened last summer. This was a rebranding of the Simple Greek. Owned by the same owners, now no longer under the franchise agreement of the Simple Greek, this allowed ownership to have more flexibility in their menu options, including being able to offer a wide variety of vegetarian and vegan options. Across the street at West Farms Mall, 3 new tenants joined the West Hartford side in the last year. Valley Kids Company, a local toy retailer, Fabletics, a national athleisure wear brand, as well as Warby Parker, which had previously only been direct to consumer selling glasses, joined them as a brick and mortar. Moving further down New Britain Avenue, last December, the Town Council approved a special development district and zone change to allow for the residences at Berkshire Road. The residences at Berkshire Road will be a 3-building, 26-unit development, which will welcome 2 affordable units as well as 24 luxury market rate units. Check for this to hopefully break ground later this year. Now off to Elmwood. Corporate Center West welcomed 3 new businesses this past year. Corporate Center West, as a note, is our largest office building in town and is located at the corner of New Britain Avenue and South Main Street. Those new businesses that joined Corporate Center West are Entrust Wealth Partners, a financial services company, Jalix Americas Inc., which is a worldwide trading company. They actually expanded into Corporate Center West, previously being located at Regis in West Hartford Center, as well as NBT Bank. NBT Bank announced earlier this year that they had chosen West Hartford as their Connecticut headquarters. Their new office is slated to open in Corporate Center West next month. Across the street, Doro Marketplace opened in September of 2020. They are a European-style cafe and marketplace. This is the 4th concept in West Hartford from the Doro Group. Moving further into Elmwood, at the Epstein Plaza, Zaytoon's Mediterranean Cuisine is currently working on construction of their space. Zaytoon's Mediterranean Cuisine will be the 2nd restaurant in town for Zaytoon's. Zaytoon's Mediterranean Bistro is also currently located on Perk Road. Moving across the street at 1123 New Britain Avenue, Cake Gypsy is wrapping up build out of their retail space where they will sell homemade and home crafted cupcakes. Also a note regarding Gypsy Cake, they have taken a space over off of Jefferson Avenue which will serve as a baking and manufacturing facility for them. Excited for 2 new leases from the Gypsy Cake in town. Moving even further down New Britain Avenue, last summer we learned that legacy retailer Puritan Furniture was closing due to retirement. Within approximately a month of closing, Ashley Home Store purchased the property and reopened a Ashley Home outlet in this location. At 983 New Britain Avenue, Doc's Urgent Care opened in July of last year. During the height of the pandemic, they offered drive-through COVID testing as a part of their grand opening. The property directly behind Doc's Urgent Care at 141 Shield Street will soon welcome Weehaw Brewing and Roasting. Weehaw Brewing and Roasting went on a multi-year search for the right property to be able to open in West Hartford. They settled on this 6,000 square foot space, which will be an excellent space to open their roasting facility as well as brewery. In addition to the roasting facility, the brewery, this particular location will also welcome a cafe, a tap room, as well as a private event space and some outdoor seating. They're hoping to open this summer. Moving further along on Shield Street, the Bridge Family Center expanded their operations into Elmwood last August. They opened a new counseling center at 100 Shield Street. At 167 South Street, K Cabinetry expanded from a temporary location in West Hartford to this very large 16,000 square foot space last year. Moving further along on South Street at the corner of South Street and Sherman Street, West Hartford Lock, another multi-year process in order to find the right space for this business. They purchased 11 Sherman Street in January of 2020. After a lengthy build out in order to retrofit this building for their West Hartford headquarters, West Hartford Lock officially opened in September of 2020, relocating from Hartford. Some recent news that we learned at 80 South Street, Mark's Appliance Warehouse will be opening here in fall of 2021. Mark's Appliance Warehouse is a longtime West Hartford business. They're currently located up on Prospect Avenue. The exciting part about this is their current location is approximately 2,000 square feet. And here on South Street, they'll have the ability to expand operations up to 7,000 square feet. Storage Solutions purchased 1031 New Britain Avenue earlier this year. This particular property is currently heavy under construction of self-storage. Currently, as you can see up on the left-hand side, the large former Bally's building, which is approximately 62,000 square feet, is currently being fitted for climate control state-of-the-art storage units, as well as adjacent property on the South Street side is currently wrapping up building some traditional units that will be serving for oversized items. Now over to New Park Avenue. The much anticipated Gastro Park opened in fall of 2020. The Gastro Park features up to 4 food trucks at a time, typically rotating, and they also have, as you can see in the photo on both the right-hand and left-hand side, they have a wide variety of outdoor seating. They pride themselves on being family-friendly and a fun place to gather and graze. Currently, the food truck park is building out additional indoor seating as well as supplemental commercial kitchens in the facility. 635 New Park welcomed several new tenants within the last year. Rock and Soul Hair Salon is a great story. They had been renting a small space up at Salons by JC in Bishop's Corner and were able to grow their clientele in order to open their own salon here at 635 New Park. Also in the same building, Body Rock Fit Lab recently relocated directly next door and also opened by the same owner as Body Rock, Sean Chambers. Smash Avenue opened in December of 2020. Smash Avenue coins itself as Connecticut's first indoor rage room. This particular concept is definitely something that will help relieve a lot of stress from this past year during the pandemic, as you can go in and smash inanimate objects and take out your frustration. Last business that has joined 635 New Park, Tribe Indoor Cycling Studio, is currently wrapping up the build out of their expansion into this industrial park. They are relocating from a smaller space in West Hartford Center and hope to get up and running in this new space in July. Moving back onto New Park Avenue, Hartford Baking Company went through a rebranding earlier this year to Citizens Chicken and Donuts, where they coin donuts by day, chicken by night. At the corner of New Park Avenue and Oakwood Avenue, 540 New Park is going to be another transformative project by Troutbrook Realty Advisors, which is the real estate arm of the West Hartford Housing Authority. This will be a mixed-use, mixed-income development, which will feature 52 units of residential apartments, as well as 1,500 square feet of commercial space on the ground floor. This particular project is really exciting as it will rehab a blighted vacant property that has been sitting there for decades on a really key property along our transit corridor. This project is estimated to be around $20 million. Taking a right onto Oakwood Avenue, West Hartford Landscaping purchased 702 Oakwood Avenue earlier this year. They had been leasing a much smaller space across the street for quite some time, and they were able to secure this property and relocate their West Hartford headquarters earlier this year into approximately 17,000 square feet of space. Moving over onto Reed Avenue, Patrunti Design had relocated to 162 Reed Avenue into 10,000 square feet of space from a previous temporary, much smaller space in the Andover Industrial Park. Patrunti Design is best known for custom cabinetry and millwork. Moving back onto New Park Avenue, Aldi. Aldi, a longtime business for us in West Hartford, is currently going through a number of renovations that we're really excited about. Currently, they are expanding their refrigeration as well as their backstock capacity by adding a 1,000 square foot expansion. They are also currently working on finishing up an interior renovation to their new store concept. I am told it's likely they may reopen today. Also on this site, a really eyesore of a bus shelter is being replaced. As you can see down on the right-hand side, this is right on the outside of Chick-fil-A's drive-thru, and it will be replaced with a brand new state-of-the-art bus shelter, which will be a true enhancement for this plaza. Moving across the street at 510 New Park Avenue, Coastal Tool, who had previously been here for some time, relocated at the beginning of last year to a property further down on New Park Avenue. This property has been vacant for well over a year and recently received site plan approval in order to open an AutoZone retail establishment in this location. AutoZone is currently working on pulling together for building permits as well as other permitting in order to move forward with this project. So more to come here. Going across the street at 485 New Park, another really great story within West Hartford. New Park Brewing has spent the last year working on major renovations and expansions of their brewery. Here on the screen, we can see that they recently opened a really beautiful room in the back called the Barrel Room. This will serve as private event space. New Park Brewing has also been able to expand their brewing capacity, as well as they're currently wrapping up building of 2 commercial kitchens. One will serve the tap room, as well as the other will serve the Barrel Room, their event space. What's really great about New Park Brewing is since their opening in 2017, they have approximately quadrupled their space, now being in approximately 10,000 square feet. Now let's take a quick pause to talk about new business, to talk about some existing businesses. We've had a couple acquisitions in 2021, just finalized on Friday of last week. Colt has been acquired by the CZ Group. The CZ Group is a firearms manufacturer out of the Czech Republic. What's most exciting about this acquisition is that the CZ Group loves the property here in West Hartford, and this acquisition will allow them to retain and hopefully reinvest in this particular property. That will be able to secure one of our larger manufacturers who employs north of 300 on New Park Avenue. On the right-hand side of the screen, IT Direct announced in February of this year that they also had been acquired. IT Direct, an MSP company, was acquired by Compass MSP, a Florida firm. And what's truly exciting about this is with this acquisition, IT Direct has chosen to remain in West Hartford as its headquarters. That will secure the jobs of north of 60 employees here in West Hartford, as well as relocate operations from Florida. That's truly a success for West Hartford, as well as the state of Connecticut. Now, this slide we have seen in the past regarding complete streets on New Park Avenue. However, the most exciting news is that we are finally moving forward with our streetscape project. A very quick kind of conceptual of what it could look like down on the right-hand side. New Park Avenue will be getting a major makeover starting next year. The town is currently in the design phase in-house through our engineering staff on a $3.7 million streetscape on New Park Avenue from New Britain Avenue just past Aldi. These streetscape improvements will bring in construction season next year in 2022, a brand new mill and pave of that road, bike lanes, new sidewalks, landscaping, and lighting, the whole 9, which will be an immense asset for our transit corridor. Lastly, for New Park Avenue, let's talk transit-oriented development. So currently the town is initiating a planning study to examine zoning around both of our fast track stations. New Park Avenue is flanked by 2 fast track stations, one down at Elmwood and one at Flatbush Avenue. Currently, outreach as well as work groups are underway through our planning staff at the town, as well as professional planning consulting firm SLR. A final report is expected to be brought to the council in August. The goal is to create more transit-supported zoning. Now let's head over to Park Road. First, we're going to take a quick detour onto Prospect Avenue. 409 Prospect Avenue previously received site plan approval to construct 10 townhome style residential units. Recently, there has been some activity on this site. They are currently working on site work, including, as you can see on the right-hand side, the digging of the foundation. Now, these renderings should look familiar to most. A really, really exciting project that is coming down the pike. One Park Road, which is located at the former Sisters of St. Joseph Convent at the corner of Park Road and Prospect Avenue, will be built by Lex Laz LLC. Once constructed, this will welcome 295 residential units, including 30 of those that will be designated as affordable units. Lex Laz LLC will take on this large historic preservation project, as well as building some new construction in the back on this site. This particular project, which is currently wrapping up the acquisition of this property through Lex Laz LLC, is projected to be approximately $66 million in investment. Directly next door on Ringgold Street, the townhomes at Ringgold Estates has recently been constructed on the former Patrici Nursery site. Now, this brings 25 townhome style units, all that are owner occupied. This particular property began construction back in late 2019, with the last of the 25 units selling in November of 2020 in what we're told is record time. At the corner of Park Road and Prospect Avenue, Caribe Restaurant opened in January of 2021. They serve Caribbean style food, most specifically Dominican. Moving along to 120 Park Road, this particular property has received a wide variety of improvements and rehab to this particular property. Bird Code Hot Chicken opened back in November of last year, and they have become a fan favorite for their Nashville style hot chicken. Moving further down Park Road, Park Tavern had closed temporarily last summer and then reopened as Beachland Smoke. This is still under the ownership of the Beachland Group and offers smoked meats and barbecue. At the former Park and Oak space on Oakwood Avenue, Toro Taberna opened earlier this year, and they serve Spanish-style tapas, including an entirely gluten-free menu. Keep in mind Toro Loco, because we'll be back to them later. Moving further down the road at 204 Park Road, this property has seen a vast number of renovations. They completely renovated the apartments on the second floor, as well as the commercial spaces on the ground floor, including the relocation of Infinite Beauty Bar, who reopened last summer, as you can see with, I believe, the Chamber's first ribbon cutting in several months throughout the pandemic. Infinite Beauty Bar had been located further down Park Road towards the Prospect Avenue area, and they expanded their operations into this space. Jar and Bar, just another restaurant and bar, opened earlier this month. They feature tapas and small plates. They've done some renovations to the interior in order to get up and running, and this beautiful renovation of the patio on the exterior, which is truly an immense asset to Park Road. On the right-hand side of the screen, Dues and Die opened earlier this year in 224 Whiting Lane. Dues and Die, another really great expansion for a West Hartford business. Dues and Die's owner previously rented a chair at another salon in town and was able to grow their clientele in order to open their first solo salon here on Whiting Lane. At 262 Park Road, ophthalmologist Eyes on Park opened in March of 2020. Park Road also welcomed Panache, which relocated from 485 New Park last summer. On the right-hand side of the screen, we see Fuego Picante. So some sad news that was announced, the Pachanga Empanadas was closing. However, within approximately a week's time, we learned of this new lease by Fuego Picante. They are a West Hartford-based food truck who will be opening their first brick and mortar restaurant in this space soon. The last item for Park Road, as you can see from this rendering, 136 South Main Street, the former Taylor and Modine Funeral Home, will soon be transformed. Taylor and Modine condensed their operations into Sheehan Hilborn on New Britain Avenue, and this particular property was purchased by 136 South Main Street LLC in June of 2020, recently receiving site plan approval. And currently under demolition, we will welcome a brand new Hartford healthcare facility on this site. Once constructed, this will be a 2-story, approximately 17,000 square foot building. Really excited for this major investment on a key corner in West Hartford. Now time to head over to Blueback Square. Trying to keep this presentation has been relevant and up to date has been incredibly challenging because we are just bursting with new leasing and new activity left and right. On Friday of last week and announced on Monday, Blueback Square is officially under new ownership and has been sold to Charter Realty and Development. The most exciting part about this is Charter Realty and Development, which is a real estate and development company out of Greenwich, is a local company. They are very excited to hit the ground running with the Blueback Square, and they have a lot of exciting things that will be coming down the pike. Business news in Blueback Square, Aria Nail Spa opened on Memorial Road in December of 2020. A couple updates on existing businesses, Wolfgang Bakery and Grooming, as well as Cycle Bar Indoor Cycling Studio, both welcomed new ownership in 2020. Also, Rizzuto's, who had temporarily been closed over the course of the winter, reopened last month under new management. At the corner of Raymond Road and Memorial Road, the Place to Be will be opening soon. This will be a third location for the Place to Be, who currently has 2 locations in West Hartford. They are best known for their brunch and bottomless mimosas. Moving along Raymond Road, Sola Salons opened earlier this year. Sola Salons allows for independent stylists to open their own businesses in small spaces. This had previously been 3 separate tenant spaces, and then Sola Salon transformed this into one 10,000 square foot space with a major investment. Moving on to Isham Road, School of Rock is working on construction currently of the entire 2nd floor of this building that you see below, directly above Prime Healthcare. School of Rock, which will be opened by franchise owner Scott Ronan, offers music lessons and other opportunities for kids. He has hit the ground running and is very active within our community, and we're really happy to welcome his new location here this summer. Moving back onto Raymond Road at the former Petals and Paws, which has sat vacant for several years, was recently leased by Toro Loco. Now, we talked about Toro Loco over on Oakwood Avenue and said that we would come back to them. This will be the 2nd restaurant that Toro Loco will be opening here in West Hartford within 2021. This property is currently under construction. When open later this summer, they will feature Mexican street food. 2 properties over, Westside Wines had closed towards the end of last year. And when we thought that they closed, they really only sold. They sold to a new ownership who then opened Tilted Bottles with some minor renovations in the interior in November of 2020. Taking a quick detour on to Farmington Ave East at 768 Farmington, Cosmos International property had been on the market for sale for quite some time. Earlier this year, it was purchased by Rasham Restaurant, who currently has a location up in South Windsor. Rasham Restaurant will be working on doing some renovations in order to open a restaurant and marketplace later this summer and will feature Pakistani cuisine. Let's take a pause to talk about outdoor dining. So amidst the height of the pandemic, when we were very low on capacity for many businesses, the state allowed for a process for towns to allow for expanded outdoor dining as well as outdoor retail to be able to support those businesses. With that information, West Hartford jumped on the chance through a working group that was comprised of many town staff, including Public Works, Engineering, Planning and Zoning, the town manager, Parking Division, as well as Economic Development. We created a really great outdoor dining program. So this program, as you can see, was different in each section of town. However, in West Hartford and Center and Blueback Square, it allowed for expanded on-street dining with the use of corrals. So this was specific, again, to West Hartford Center and Blueback Square. However, restaurateurs that were located on private property outside of the center also had opportunity to expand on their private property. Most expanded into adjacent parking spaces. With this particular program and opportunity last year, we received a rave review, and it was really well received by both businesses as well as residents, and drove an immense additional amount of tourism to our town to patronize this really cool atmosphere. Overall, last year, we added nearly 1,500 additional seats during the 2020 outdoor dining season. We were able to support, through a fast-tracked permitting process, 43 restaurants with this opportunity, and turnaround time was incredibly quick. Approvals were received in 2.8 days. Fast forward to 2021, we decided to implement the same expanded outdoor dining opportunity in West Hartford Center and Blueback Square again. Also, thanks to a working group of the West Hartford Art League, the West Hartford Arts Commission, and some town staff, we were successful with art barrier murals. So this was a track through Sustainable CT's community match grant that allowed for us to raise funds from the community to support the painting of the concrete barriers. The last 2 weekends, these concrete barriers in Blueback Square and West Hartford Center were painted, as you can see on a couple of the photos on this screen. Overall, the money went to pay for the commissioning of the artists through the West Hartford Art League, as well as for supplies. This definitely has been very well received and adds a lot of much needed public art to our center, as well as Blueback Square. A note regarding this season, we are free of capacity requirements at this point in time. So we do have a little bit less in terms of number of added seats. However, townwide, to date this season, we've added close to 1,200 additional outdoor dining seats, and we've also been able to serve more restaurants this year. A total of 57 restaurants are utilizing our fast-tracked permitting process and currently have either put out or will soon be putting out expanded outdoor dining, either in the center, Blueback Square, or on their properties. Really a tremendous effort by a lot of people, and is really a great asset and amenity to drive additional traffic to all of our districts in town. So what's new in the center? Over in the former Esquire Cleaner space on South Main Street, Kung Fu Tea is currently wrapping up build out of their location. They hope to open in July and will feature bubble tea. Over on Farmington Avenue, Chase Bank opened in August of 2020, expanding their operations into West Hartford. As you can see on the left-hand side of the Chase photo, a beautiful banner had been installed earlier this year. Another track through the Sustainable CT Community Match Fund, the West Hartford Center Business Association was able to crowdfund for these beautiful new banners, which are definitely in support of our businesses. They feature different social media handles, and they also coin Shop, Dine, Stroll, reflective of our wide variety of businesses in the center and Blueback Square. Moving over to 75 Brace Road in June of 2020, Goff Law Group opened in this large 3,500 square foot office last year. Another item trying to stay up to date and relevant, moving to 994 Farmington Avenue. A sign just went up at the tail end of last week announcing that West Hartford Apothecary would be opening in the former Liberty Travel space. Also opened in this building last year is Prima Facie Med Spa. Also on Farmington Avenue, opening in November of 2020, Pink Soda is a blow-dry bar and salon, and they have expanded last year from Fairfield County. Moving on to LaSalle Road, McLadden's had closed amidst the pandemic and was transformed and reopened as Worst House earlier this year, a sister restaurant of the Student Prince up in Massachusetts. We are excited to have this German-style restaurant open in town. At the office building directly next door at 65 LaSalle, in October of 2020, Bowler Engineering relocated their offices from Rocky Hill. Moving over to 102 LaSalle Road, People's Bank will be opening come July in this space. People's Bank is a bank that is out of Western Massachusetts who is very excited to expand their operations into West Hartford. Moving along on LaSalle Road, directly next to Brico, Case Convenience is currently working on construction of half of this tenant space to open later this year. This particular slide highlights a major reinvestment to our legacy retailer, Lux Bond & Green. Lux Bond & Green went through massive transformations to this new store style, and we couldn't be more excited for them to decide to reinvest in their storefront in West Hartford Center last year. Thank you, Lux Bond & Green. Moving on back onto Farmington Avenue, Lobstercraft will be opening hopefully come July at 981 Farmington Avenue. They are best known for their hot buttered lobster rolls. Although they will not be opening for another couple months, be sure to catch their food truck at the Gastro Park. A couple doors down, the former Grant space is currently wrapping up build out of a restaurant space in this location. Now, not too many details can be released currently. What I will say is more to come. An announcement regarding this particular concept as well as opening details will be released in the coming weeks. In the same building at 977 Farmington Avenue, Westfield Bank opened in July of 2020, expanding their operations into West Hartford. A couple of doors down, Mecha Noodle Bar, which features Southeast Asian cuisine, opened in July of 2020. Directly next to Mecha, Arethusa Farms opened a dairy bar and cafe around the same time in June of 2020. Couple doors down from there, Good Cause Gifts, which is a social enterprise retailer, which is part of Futures Incorporated, supporting those with developmental disabilities, opened their retail store in August of 2020 with a condensed footprint of Nutmeg State Credit Union. Across the street, we will see some construction soon on the build out of Aroma Body and Foot Spa. Now off to Bishop's Corner. We're going to take a very brief detour and stop at Westmore Park. This beautiful pavilion and outdoor classroom was made possible by crowdfunding from our very generous and amazing community. This was constructed and opened in summer of 2020 and is to honor the late Bridget Curtin. Moving into Bishop's Corner, we received some sad news in August of 2020 that Blue Plate Kitchen would be closing. However, that was short-lived, thankfully. Blue Plate Kitchen was officially purchased in September of 2020 and is currently open by new ownership. And we are excited to retain this really popular business here in Bishop's Corner. A couple doors down, Salsa Fresca, a Mexican grill, opened in November of 2020. A couple doors down from there, Restore Hyper Wellness and Cryotherapy is currently building out their franchise location in hopes of opening come July. On the backside of the Edens Plaza, Overflow opened around the beginning of the year back in January, and they serve smoothies as well as fresh juices. Over at Crossroads Plaza, F45 Fitness opened in December of 2020. They are a fitness facility that offers functional training and fitness. Across the street at the Simon Conover building on the ground floor, Connecticut Physical Therapy Specialist opened in mid-January of 2021, relocating their offices to this building. On the left-hand side of the screen, no longer coming soon, officially open, Maximum Beverage relocated and reopened in this much larger space on the backside of the Whole Foods Plaza next to Anytime Fitness. They had previously been located across the street at the Edens Plaza. Also on the screen, although not a new business, we had previously understood that Whole Foods Market was going to relocate to Avon. However, in August of 2020, we learned that Whole Foods had re-signed a lease and they would officially be staying in their second location here in Bishop's Corner. Last, and not any details to release, but thought that I would say, since this particular slide has been in this presentation for several years and we knew we'd get some questions on this, I thought that I would include the former UConn campus and the current Ideanomics property. The update here is definitely more to come. However, this particular property is currently under contract. We should learn more details about this real estate transaction, hopefully later this summer. Now I'd like to welcome Chris Conway back to announce another initiative that is launching today. Chris?
Thank you, Kristen. So on the screen before you, you see what is best described as a community collaboration. This is a brand new website that, as Kristen said, officially launched this morning, along with some social media accounts on Instagram and Facebook. And the initiative is called Why West Hartford. Why West Hartford was a collaborative project between the town, the chamber, and West Hartford Community Interactive. And those of us who live or spend time or do business in West Hartford, we know what a wonderful place it is, but we wanted to get that message out more to residents, but also to potential visitors, potential new residents, and also potential new businesses. So we created a website that speaks to all of those demographics. This is a fully functional website, and we do invite you to check it out. It's the handle is, I'm sorry, the URL is whywesthartford.com. Just a couple of mentions. The site was designed by Danielle Hunter of Hunter Design Studio, a West Hartford Chamber of Commerce member. This was a group effort. We've formed a small committee of myself, Kristen, Renee McHugh from the town, Christine Luby, who is on the Chamber's Board of Directors and also the chair of our Community Engagement Committee, and Jen Evans from West Hartford Community Interactive. The logo, which is a map pin, was designed by John Droney from West Hartford Community Interactive. And I think that's it. We just really want people to go check it out and see what it's got. It's basically a one-stop shop for anybody who is curious about who West Hartford is, what we represent, what we do, and why we are the place to be.
Thanks, Chris. And I'll just mention, we're really excited about this because this will really serve really a hole in our community, and it will serve as a tourism and marketing website, as Chris said, to visitors, businesses, as well as our current residents, and hopefully prospective residents and prospective businesses. Definitely a labor of love. As Chris said, we invite you all to check this website out. We will work on frequently updating this to bring you real-time information. Also, one note is we are currently working on wrapping up a business directory, which will list all of our brick and mortar businesses, which will be easier, hopefully, for residents as well as tourists to find. With that, I will take any questions.
Please put your questions in the chat. Sorry, in the Q&A button at the bottom. Question, Kristen, from Ronnie Newton. Do you know how many businesses opened in the past year and how many closed?
Great question, which I should have anticipated. Ronnie, I'll get back to you on the number that have officially opened. However, as far as we can track in terms of who has closed for a number of reasons, both permanently closed or relocated their storefronts or offices to a home office, that number is hanging somewhere in the low 30s over the course of the pandemic. What we do know, and I'll have to get back to you on the number, I believe new businesses is somewhere in the 40 to 50 range. So we are definitely net positive there.
Okay, great. And I do have people putting questions in the chat and the Q&A, so just bear with me as I get to them. Question from Rachel Stein. Any updates on the parking situation on LaSalle? Will the rear end aligned parking be changing?
So I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Sure. Any updates on the parking situation on LaSalle? Will the rear end angled parking be changing?
Great question. So currently, as we had implemented with expanded outdoor dining and retail last year, LaSalle went to one way with back-in angled parking. That has been continued for this season. Our engineering as well as public work staff are looking to see what we will do beginning next year. However, we definitely are seeing that it is something that's really helpful to the traffic flow, especially as it pertains to LaSalle Road, and we'll look to potentially implement long-term.
Great. You may or may not be able to answer this one, but for Margaret Francoeur, exciting commercial development. When will the tax rolls begin to see the increased personal and property tax revenue?
Great question. I don't know if Matt Hart is still on the call and might be able to pinch hit with that one.
Thanks, Kristen. Matt Hart, Town Manager. So we each and every year, new property comes online onto our grand list. So we're seeing the benefits of that all the time. We are in the midst of revaluation, as you may know. That's something we need to do every 5 years. And that's to update the grand list for October 1st of 2021. And we actually would not see the true effects of that until fiscal year 23. But again, every time a new business opens, or there's a major renovation, new construction, etc., that's an addition to our grand list and positively impacts our values in town.
Thanks, Matt.
Okay. Question from Jill Lewis. Will we have a listing on why West Hartford for non-brick and mortar businesses?
That's a great question, and definitely something that we had discussed as a working group. So the answer is currently no. So we chose to predominantly focus on those that had brick and mortar, because those, as a tourism and marketing website, that is something where people can look you up and they can physically visit you. So that was kind of the delineator there.
Thank you. And this is just a point of clarification. Did you say Blue Plate Kitchen will be opening somewhere else, or is it gone?
Nope. So what the update was is Blue Plate Kitchen had been announcing that they were closing. They were bought out by a new ownership, and they are remaining open. As I understand it, they are here for the long haul. I have not heard of an expansion into a second location.
Okay. And this one's from Al Marino. Is the Hartford Healthcare Facility being built, replacing their existing space on Bishop's Corner, or is it totally different use?
Great question. Thanks, Al. So as we understand it, it's a completely different use. Hartford Healthcare has a lot of square footage in West Hartford. They are really interested in continuing to be a part of our community and continuing to grow. So this will be a brand new facility for them.
Okay, thank you. So there's no other questions, and I know you're not necessarily looking at the chat or the questions, but the rest of the comments are congratulations on a great presentation and a wonderful update. So thank you.
Thanks, Chris. I really appreciate it. And again, thank you so much to the Chamber, as well as our entire business community, really our entire community as a whole, especially after such a really challenging and tough and devastating year last year. Our community really banded together in a variety of different ways so that we could have all of this positive activity and economic growth. And you know, really the support system of the community, we couldn't be more happy with, as well as those businesses that hung in there as tough as it was. We really appreciate you. I also wanted to take a quick opportunity again to thank our sponsors, to thank the Chamber. The Chamber, they also do tireless work. They are such a tremendous partner, and they're really making a huge impact in our community. So thank you so much for everybody who attended. I really appreciate the time and the attendance.
Okay, well, thank you. So I will just close out with just a couple of things. Thank you, Kristen, for that and for all the work you do. And just want to remind our business and nonprofit community, the Chamber is here to support you. If there's, you know, my staff and myself are available to answer any questions, you know, to learn about your business and how we could perhaps support you. Speaking of support, I'd like to once again thank our sponsors. Of course, our presenting sponsor, People's United Bank, our gold sponsor, Westfield Bank, our silver sponsors, Alka Construction Company, All Waste, Clifton Larson Allen, Comcast Business, Connecticut Food Bank and Food Share, courtesy of Robert and Terry Kulikowski, and Troutbrook Realty Advisors, our media sponsor, Corsi and Company, and our media sponsor, 20 Media 20. I would also like to invite you all to join us in person on June 28th at the Farmington Polo Club for our annual meeting, where we will welcome in our new board of directors. That also serves as our Spotlight Awards, where we will honor several of our Chamber members and community members, including our Noah Webster Award. And that event is being presented by People's Bank. So with that, thank you everybody for joining us today, and have a great day.